Okay. Good morning and welcome to the August 16th session. And before we start, we always open with a prayer. And today we have Pastor David Tennant with the Owensville United Methodist Church.
Looks like the pews are filled this morning.
Come for you.
And me without collection plates. Let's pray. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sins, and will heal their land. Father, we need you desperately in this country, in this world. We have much some going in the right direction, but much seemingly going in the wrong direction. And I think because of that is caused by we are denying you, we are running from you. And Father, when we humble, pray, and seek and turn, then you will hear, then you will heal our land. So Father, for this time, for this hour, for the people here, for the commissioners, and then for ourselves as we go about the business of our days, Father, use us. Help us to humble, seek, pray, and turn so that you will heal this land. And in the importance of this day and what you are calling us to do, particularly in this hour. Amen.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You want to lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gail, before we start, would you please note that Commissioner Painter is out of town and will not be with us today, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Item B is the approval of the regular session minutes of August 9th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
I will make that motion.
I will second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Chris Turner, are you back there somewhere? We won't keep you. We'll let you get back to work.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is for the Clermont County Juvenile Court expansion. This is change order 15. We will go over each change order request, and then we'll take your vote, and then we'll move on to the next. Change order COR number 078 is to add fence. The original design followed the contour of the asphalt and the sidewalk. This is a request of Judge Shriver to add more space between the fence and the sidewalk, which added approximately 10 feet of additional fencing. The increase is $1,002.46 to the project. And the architect has verified the cost, and all supporting document is in the packet.
Commissioner Batchelor? You can go. It doesn't matter on this one.
Doesn't matter?
No.
Okay.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes, on the fence.
COR number 079 is outlets and sinks. The original design did not have electrical outlets located at the countertops, the kitchenettes, and included shallow sinks. This is a request of Judge Shriver to have deeper sinks accommodate larger kitchen cookware and requested additional outlets at the countertops. This increase is $13,619.85 to the project. The architect has verified the cost, and all supporting documentation is in the packet.
Commissioner Batchelor?
No.
Commissioner Corcoran?
No.
The last item that we have is COR number 080. It's a Guardian ad litem shift. The original design had the Guardian ad litem furniture offset towards the witness box. The request is of Judge Shriver to relocate the Guardian ad litem closer to the gallery. This cost is a no additional cost to the project. The architect has verified the cost, and supporting documentation is included in the packet.
Commissioner Batchelor? Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes. Do you have another copy of this since I filled
do.
out the wrong one?
Here.
Do.
Got mine.
I think think I have to do it
We
separately.
just signed one, right?
You can, or yeah,
Do we have to, we signed separate ones?
You can. Yeah. I think last time we did.
Okay,
It's okay.
I don't know why I skipped a page on it and I was doing the opposite of what I
Are we
wanted to
doing
do
one?
here. Okay. Are we gonna do one?
Separate, Chris, or together?
Separate would be better. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Let me redo what I did here
Yes.
first,
Do you need
please.
the vote?
No, I know what I did, but thank you. Yeah, I just did the wrong sheet. Oh, it's on the bottom. That's why I missed it.
Are you okay?
No. Okay, Allison's thanks. All right. I just moved to the second page and thought I should sign there, but I should not. Okay.
You're on it.
There we go. Now you got the vote, Chris. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You'll hand it to me?
Yes.
Take care of it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, item C is a presentation by Andy Dickerson, Cardinal Conservatory.
Morning.
Good morning. All right, thanks for having me today. Thanks for coming out, everybody. So I'm here to talk about a new nature preserve we'd like to start in Loveland. Just a quick update for those in the room and you guys. Our mission, I mean, we protect natural habitats, waterways, and working lands all throughout Southwest Ohio. And we are a nonprofit. We've grown since I've last been in front of you. We've got a few more board members. We're up to 7 staff now. And we are approaching 9,000 acres that we either have an easement or own outright. So we've been hitting a good lick across the region for land protection. We're protecting farms. I know I've seen you guys talk about solar issue and impacting farms, so we've been doing that for a long time. Another neat thing about Cardinal and what we've done is help work on not just our area, but the whole region. We've helped design a green space prioritization plan for Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana that identifies those last great places. In the dark green, you can see where they are, and look at how much is in Clermont County. It's just one of those things that we need to pay attention to and prioritize as we try to bring state dollars in and spend here locally. The red stuff is those areas that should be restored because there's no tree cover and people have health issues because of a lack of nature. We've upgraded our technology, so we now have drone experts on staff, and we're able to monitor properties way more efficiently and not just look and see if there's any encroachment. This is a 220-acre nature preserve we have up in Clinton County. But if you see the lighter colored bushes, that's our autumn olive. So we're able to track and update our progress on getting rid of invasive plants that are taking over the fields. And the top is all restored to native prairie. And we work with farmers. So we monitor farms, and farmers love this. This guy actually used to run ODOT and wanted a picture with the drone and had us check out his roof while we were there to look for leaks.
You sent him a large bill, right?
Oh no, we're just happy they won't shoot our drone down. So I wanted to remind and thank you for working with us on our Rinsky Woods Nature Preserve. That nature preserve is going strong. We have a parking lot. It's open to the public, daylight to dark, and we get lots of visitors hiking it. They get to see endangered plants like a cranefly orchid or cardinal flower, and it's really neat. Today, what I'm here to talk to you about is Grailville. I don't know how much you know about the Grail, but they've got a long history of stewardship and agriculture and art and community involvement that is probably second to none in our region. The Park District has worked with them to purchase over 100 acres, and the rest of it is, something that the Park District is not going to tackle. So that's where we at Cardinal would love to see a little bit larger of a protected area and nature preserve, and would like to apply for a grant to purchase it. And you see on the map up there, basically the west side of the map is the part we're going to pursue in getting. And it will add on. I know that Parks and Josh are looking to do some restoration, and we're going to work in conjunction with those guys and partner with them. And not just on that, maybe even in seeking some of the Appalachian funding to bring to the area and the region. We are going to, I think that's on our next slide. So we are going to work with partners. So we're going to work with the Grail. They're fantastic. Everyone I've ever talked to there has a deep caring for the land and wants to see it protected. And protecting land is what we do. We're going to work with the Park District. Again, Park District is, hand in hand what we'd like to do. We're in conjunction with them, restoring forests, building trails, having prairie, and getting people out there. Work with the city of Loveland. The city of Loveland is willing to build a spur off the Little Miami Bike Trail to get people from downtown Loveland up to this property so they can enjoy it. That's a big thing for them. And also the township, because this is a unique property. It's annexed into Loveland, but it's still in the township. So we have the support of the Miami Township as well.
And Claire can go there and fish and catch Jeff's dinner for him.
Well, what we are going to do,
See that?
there is a pond.
What's the size of the pond?
It is almost an acre,
Oh, good.
Wow.
but the dam is in need of a little bit of repair. So hopefully we can find a good Clermont County contractor to come out and fix the dam for us.
Okay.
But we have restored ponds before, and we're going to do it again. Check and make sure it's not sedimented up. Check our fish population and get it restored so people can enjoy a hike and going fishing.
So you don't have any idea how deep it is?
I haven't been brave enough to swim out there yet.
Well, that's on your next assignment.
Well, there's a snapping turtle in
Everybody
there
agree here.
that's really big. It's about as big as a garbage can lid. So
Are you serious?
yeah, it's a
Turtle
big
soup?
one. I tell you what, Bonnie,
You go
get your suit and come out with me, and we'll see if we can find that turtle.
Oh, I don't think you want to, Bonnie.
Another neat thing about the place is working with the public. There are some buildings on site that are just unique and have a character and a sense of place to the residents that we're going to do our best to raise money to try to restore them. Many of those buildings are not included in this grant. We're going to work on separate funding for that, so we're not limited or restricted by the grant funds when we fix them up. But our goal is to fix them up and let the community use them. And we'd like to move our office there from Milford over to Loveland as well. But a couple of the big issues that I think are unique about this opportunity in us is we know there's with the pandemic, all the mental health issues, we really are partnering with health practitioners to use nature as a prescription for mental health treatment. The science exists for that. It's not new science, but there's not many places that are explicitly focusing on the mental health aspect. And with Hodier, there's a big barn that has rooms in it that they've kept that would be easy to fix up. We could provide a place where practitioners can meet with their patients and then send them outside to get treated. It's also great for veterans and PTSD. So that's our goal. And through the restoration of specifically having an avian ecologist on staff, of attracting birds, and going to the Midwest Native Plant Conference and attracting insects, we're going to create a sound garden that people can enjoy the night sounds of insects. So we've got a lot of big plans, but it starts with support from governments as required by Ohio Revised Code. Us being a 501c3 nonprofit, we need a resolution of support from you in order to submit an application. We're not looking for money from you or funding. That's just so we can apply to get state dollars to bring here and use in the county. We already have, we had unanimous support from Loveland and Miami Township, and love to see the same thing from you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Any more about turtles?
I caught one time on an old cane pole. Scared me to death. I threw it down and ran.
I have a few I could donate to you if you'd like.
Turtles?
Oh, yeah. all the time. They eat all your fish.
Hey, they're all part of it, right?
Yes, they are.
That's turtles got to eat.
That's true. Any, go ahead.
Mr. Bickford, I understand that there were a couple items that
Thank you.
Mr. Eigel did not have to do the resolution for today.
Yeah, there's some information.
So-
We will get that, and I will prepare a resolution.
For next
consideration
week?
For next week, yes.
So we will have it next week,
Okay.
okay?
Where will it be on? Is that non-consent or consent? How does that go? I don't know how it works.
A resolution like that, we typically put on non-consent.
Okay. All right. Great.
Are you going to get the documentation or,
Yeah,
all right.
Tom will get it.
all right, great.
Ready to go for next week?
Next week, promise.
You two connect, and once we get that information, then we'll be able to draw up that resolution and do our vote.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
And I want this farmhouse.
Yeah.
Is that beautiful?
Come on out.
Make her restore it.
That's where.
Oh,
That's
that's-
where. That's where the boss gets to sit.
No.
At this one?
Oh, no.
No, I want this
I
one.
want a Grail bill. You can't have that one either.
That's beautiful, though.
Very pretty.
Okay. Are there anyone in the audience, anyone out here that wanted to speak today? Okay, then I have a little note I have to read, okay? We have reached the public participation section of the agenda. If there's anyone in the audience, which we already know there is. During this time, the board does not answer questions nor engage in a debate. No member of the public may comment about a matter that is not within the purview of the county commissioner's responsibilities. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. Each speaker shall only speak once and shall be recognized by the board president before speaking. In accordance with the board's rules of procedure, your comments are limited to 5 minutes. And I would ask, don't repeat. We've heard. Okay, who's first? Just step up and give your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Elizabeth Murphy, and I live at 10590 Fallis Road in Loveland. And I'm here to talk about the project that Andy just described. I'm a member of the Grail, which, as you know, is an international women's organization. And for over 70 years, the women of the Grail have tended this particular Grailville land. And we've had the privilege and the pleasure of protecting it and caring for it as a small piece of God's creation. It's been a wonderful thing. We've also had the pleasure of sharing it with the public. The peace and the natural beauty is really a wonderful thing. It's important to the Grail that these values carry forward in the future of this land. And we realize that Cardinal Conservancy's mission is very much in harmony with the Grail's mission in this way. And so we feel that they would be good stewards of this land going forward. And obviously their track record speaks for them. And we also look forward to having them as a neighbor. That corner of the world, the synergy between Cardinal and the Grail and the Clermont County Parks looks to be a very exciting thing. So I would hope that you'd be able to support this resolution for Cardinal. Thank you.
Thank you. There was other hand. Okay.
My name is Ken Davis. I have been visiting Fort Mitchell, Kentucky for the last 30 years, but I grew up in Loveland. And you can't take Loveland out of the boy. I am the vice president of the Loveland Museum Center, formerly known as the Loveland Greater Loveland Historical Society. And we, at our board meeting last week with my fellow board member, Mark Crum, we all love Grailville. And I do especially because I was aware of it at an early age. My family moved there in 1957 Grail was already started. My memory started sometime after that. But I was always aware it was a really special place because I read the Loveland Herald every Thursday when it came out. And there were always articles about conferences coming in, scholarly things taking place. As I got a little bit older and a little bit mobile, I could go with my sister and her friends and we would visit the telephone pole art field down in the lower area, which was just the coolest thing besides the castle in Loveland, but always just had a great reverence for good work that was going on there. I was raised Presbyterian, but had a lot of Catholic neighbors, and some of the women in my neighborhood, the moms in the neighborhood, I knew were involved with that, and had the good fortune to attend a wedding in the late 60s in the oratory of a family friend, and have been out there for conferences in the oratory when we did strategic planning and the Ohio History Connection came down. It is a fabulous community partner. I wish our records at the Museum Center included the Loveland Heralds from the early 40s, but unfortunately they stopped printing the paper during the war. And that was the time that land was first purchased. I'd love to know who all was involved in that. And again, just a great story. I when I heard about the development that was maybe going to take place a couple of years ago, you pray for what you want. I would just say, Cardinal is my answered prayer. I think it's just a perfect thing to come to save something so that my parents took my kids there on weekends a lot in and around Loveland, and I'm sure they made it to Grailville too. And I would so like to take my grandkids there. So, sorry.
Fine,
thank
you're
you.
fine. Thank you. Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jamie Smith. I've lived in Loveland and Clermont County my entire life. I've raised 5 sons in an old house on Cedar Drive. I have a very deep connection to my hometown, and my family's favorite place in Loveland is Grailville. Unfortunately, I have a stressful lifestyle. I've raised my sons a great majority of the time as a single mother. Their father has struggled with opioid addiction his entire adult life. The experience of addiction within a family is traumatizing. One of the most direct effects of drug addiction is the financial havoc that it wreaks on a family. I've had to maintain a full-time and at least 2 or 3 additional part-time jobs for my sons' entire lives. I've obtained work in fields where I could spend my days and summers with my children to alleviate the need for childcare, to be a good mother and a contributing member of society. I designed my life around spending time in nature with my kids, not only because it was all that we could afford, but because it was healthy and fulfilling, and it brought joy to a mentally and emotionally exhausted family. We couldn't afford memberships at Normandy Swim Club or Miami Hills Pool, but we did take our feet and walk out of a house with a broken air conditioning unit across the street and onto the trails that led to Grailville. We entered the cool woods and trekked down Grailville's paths, across the meadows, past the farmland, back into the forest, and down to the respite of the waters of the O'Banion Creek. We floated our stress away in the creek and then whistled our worries away on the way home, just in time to get to work. The relationship that we developed with this land as a family has been spiritual and therapeutic. Grailville has provided my children a higher quality of life than was otherwise available to them. I am forever grateful that a private land-owning organization was happy to share its blessings. Those blessings were able to be imbued into the community as the fruit of the work and the purpose of the members of the Grail. I now work in Clermont County in elementary education with behavioral needs students. I see the result of holistic approaches to mental wellness in my daily work. Nature heals. The benefits to humanity from exposure to natural areas are diverse. They include health benefits such as optimum nervous system functioning, well-balanced heart conditions, better vision, lower BMI, less fatigue and obesity-related issues. But the wellness benefits spill over into mental health wellness, and that directly affects our communities, making them a better place to live with less crime and greater levels of cooperation. Exposure to nature lends human beings better emotional regulation and even improved cognitive performance. Time in nature helps improve suffering from depression and reduces stress levels. It increases problem-solving skills and creativity. But beyond the blessings that this precious green space has gifted my family and can offer to others, there's an even greater good that this space can do in helping to heal our planet. Grailville is the last expansive bit of farmland left in Loveland that has not been developed. The size of Grailville is imperative to the issue of area sensitivity, which is a term related to the notion that a variety of wildlife requires a certain amount of area to thrive. If the landmass on the south side of Grailville is conserved, it is substantial enough in connection to the north side to create a significant impact on wildlife, especially grassland bird species. In addition to the ecological benefits related to biodiversity, a natural area's viewshed has its own intrinsic value. Compromising the natural pastoral viewshed of Grailville would have an irreversible effect. The risk of losing this natural area to development, if it's not conserved, are too many to count, and they would be permanent losses. Our group of impassioned citizens has been working for over a year, dedicating our time to working with the women of the Grail. We sought to help offer them assistance in finding a way towards a better solution that was more suited to their values than selling the land for development. We found the perfect match for a new steward of the land in Cardinal Land Conservancy. Cardinal had long been aware of the value that the land at Grailville held for the community. When our group approached Cardinal to ask for assistance and to pledge robust community support, they knew with their professional experience that the right conditions existed for the possibility to seek purchase, restoration, and stewardship of the land. Once Cardinal developed their plan for moving forward, we citizens had the opportunity to ask our Loveland City Council to be part of something visionary and brilliant that will last for the human beings that will inhabit this space. Now Clermont County has the chance to establish a precedent for other counties where we made a bright decision in choosing to conserve the long-term value of this land. Green space is a solid financial investment. I implore you to pass the resolution to allow Cardinal to apply for state funding for the purchase of the land that the Grail wishes to sell them. Grailville is a sacred place with countless attributes and possibilities, and Cardinal is the organization that can care for and protect it in perpetuity. Cardinal can keep the torch of the Grail lit on the south side of the property, while the Grail carries on their noble mission of stewardship, service, and education across the street. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mark Crum, 161 Overlook Drive, Loveland. I'm also on the board of the Loveland Historical Society. I'd like to note that my family goes back in the United States to 1630, and that my third great grandfather was Stephen Bartlett Loveland. I'm on the board and I photograph all old houses in the Loveland area that are 100 years or older. And we only have 4 Victorians. And if we lose Grailville or the House of Joy, we're down to 3. That's history. I would like to note that history in America is important, but to retain is that if it isn't important, we wouldn't have museums and historical societies across the United States. Our history cannot survive on just my photos of Loveland. We need physical structures to show the nature of tomorrow, show our nation of tomorrow, the history that we've created. Every old building in itself is a separate museum. Clermont County itself is history. Clermont County was founded as payments to veterans for the Revolutionary War, and George Washington owned 3 lots. Clermont County is also the birthplace of the first president of Ohio, Ulysses S. Grant. And I feel that it's important to save the building.
Thank you. There's a lady in the back.
Hello, my name is Karen Arnett, and my address is 7373 Hickman Street in Mount Healthy, Ohio. So I'm not, a Loveland resident. I don't live adjacent to the property, but in 1990, I came to Cincinnati as a freight pilot. I was flying out of Lincoln, and I ended up spending a year and a half at Grailville in 1992 and 93. There was a program that they offered, and I took time to participate. And then I stayed on, quit my flying job, and I worked on the farm and garden there. While I was there, I saw hundreds of people coming through for programs, people who came back year after year for sequential programs. I met so many women who were part of the Grail of that generation who had lived there for a year as young Catholic women in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Grailville really changed my life. And as a 30-some-year resident of Cincinnati, I know so many people. I believe there are thousands of people whose lives were really improved by their connection with Grailville. It's not just the land. The land is so important. But there was something about what the Grail as an organization imparted to that land. There was a sense of sacredness almost that they, established there. It wasn't just like going to a farm. And I feel that I just really encourage you to pass the resolution to help Cardinal acquire those remaining acres, because I think there are just so many people for whom Grailville as an intact 300-acre green space really represents something so important in their consciousness. And I know that it will positively affect future generations as well. The fact that the Grail office is right across the street, it adds something. So it's not just simply green space, but it's green space with this incredible history of an organization that was focusing on core human values, of caring and justice and sustainability. So thank you for, listening to me. I encourage you to endorse the Cardinal's acquisition or applying for the grant.
Thank you, Karen. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Dave Stanton. I live at 208 Center Hill Drive in Loveland. Let's explore the positive economic impacts to Clermont County with the Grail land becoming a dedicated green space managed by Cardinal Conservancy. The goal of the Loveland area, including Clermont County, is to work towards becoming a designated travel location for the tri-state and Midwest. Currently, we have two of the three layers for a designation travel location with Little Miami River and the Loveland Bike Trail. The addition of the Grail land as a nature preserve with passive recreation in correlation to the existing Grailville Clermont County Park District will complete the third layer for this area. The addition of the nature preserve will have an economic impact in several different aspects. The first is enhanced property values. This will be realized with additional property values in the surrounding areas associated with additional property taxes in the existing home resale and new builds. The increase in recreational tourism value would be realized in hotel stays, dining experiences, and entertainment with sales tax increases within the Clermont County area across Loveland and Milford. The unique correlation between a valued lifestyle and tourism drawing card with this nature preserve will be a direct benefit to Clermont County. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, good morning. My name is Colleen Fury, and I live at 112 Bears Creek Court. Our neighborhood, our backyards butt up against the Grail property. And so I'm just here to say that in the past, we have seen how vibrant this community is, and that we're really excited at the opportunity to have that energy brought back as a place to learn and to grow, mind, body, and soul. We've heard all of that. In our fast-paced world, we need these places to go. So I urge you to approve this and know that the neighbors will be in support of it too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Morning. My name is Kevin Kiley. I live at 1221 Retzwood Drive, and I want to thank you for considering the resolution to support the Grail and Cardinal Land Conservancy. My wife and I are two-time residents of Loveland. When we first moved here from Miami, Florida, we were overwhelmed by the trees throughout Loveland. It gave us an immediate peace and felt so unlike the stressfully overcrowded concrete community we were moving from. We had found our place to call home and to raise a family. Work moved us away and back again to Cincinnati years later. We honestly tried to choose a different town, but in the end, the trees brought us back to Loveland. That was 10 years ago. Our property shares a border with the Clermont County Nature Preserve, which was purchased from the Grail several years back. I have the unique privilege of walking out my back door and into nature every single day. Ironically, the thought hadn't even occurred to us until COVID hit, when after months of lockdowns and social distancing, we ventured out into the forest in desperation for unstifled physical exercise and recreation. This became a ritual. The trails we tended behind our house became a sanctuary from the stress and anxiety of the world, where we could breathe deeply, listen to the sound of the trees, and immerse ourselves in nature. Studies have found that being surrounded by green spaces is profoundly healing cognitively, emotionally, and physically. Spending time outdoors improves sleep quality by resetting circadian rhythms. It lowers the probability of cardiovascular disease, obesity, and asthma hospitalization in adults. Exposure to green spaces showed a decrease in blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes after a forest walk. Child obesity is reduced by breaking sedentary habits and allowing them unstructured free time. It is also shown to improve eyesight by reducing screen time and artificial light. Natural spaces relieve attention fatigue, aid recovery, and bolster creativity and problem-solving skills. A national study in the US found that green outdoor activities, no matter the setting, reduce symptoms significantly more than did activities conducted indoors. This is true regardless of socioeconomic groups, age, and gender. Doctors are increasingly prescribing nature as an alternative to traditional medicine. Studies have shown that spending as little as 20 minutes a day in nature is associated with good health and well-being. At a time when there is an obesity epidemic and a mental health crisis, we can't afford to lose more natural spaces. Walking in a forest inspires a sense of awe and wonder, boosting happiness and morale. This simple act has been found to have a positive impact on mental, emotional, and cognitive health. My mom, who is 82 years old and still active, says that gardening is her Prozac. There is scientific truth in what she says. The act of being in nature reduces our stress response, cortisol levels, muscle tension, blood pressure, and heart rate. It is also associated with decreased activity in the rumination center of our brain and can reduce depression and other forms of mental illnesses. Is preserving green space for a healthy community just a fad? I would argue that it's just common sense. Vegetation in urban parks clean the air of pollutants and allow us to breathe deeply, while providing ourselves and our children a safe place to explore the natural world. This proposal would double the current area of protected green space in Loveland and Miami Township to almost 200 acres. Please vote yes and give the Grail and Cardinal a chance to protect this land forever and to make it accessible to our community and to future generations. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jeff Mullins, Loveland resident. Just wanted to say what an opportunity this is. We've just heard the economic benefits, the health benefits, the historical benefits, the environmental benefits. This is such an opportunity. If it wasn't for the stewardship of the Grail, this land would be developed and be miles of suburban homes on top of another, which is not unique to anywhere in the world. We have a great opportunity here in Clermont County to get a win-win-win. A win for the landowner who is looking for a solution that would give them a new path forward that would provide honor their legacy and also compensate them financially. It's a win for the land because it's going to keep the ecosystem intact, and it's a win for Clermont County and its citizens of Loveland and Miami Township. With zero cost to the county, how could you say no? That's it.
What a closure that was. Anybody else?
Just so you know, we do have a public hearing at 11. I don't know how many more want to speak.
On your 30 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, you have a
7 minutes
30-minute
left.
public participant.
Okay.
And we have time.
Speak fast.
Okay. I'm Lori Kiley. I live in Loveland. I'm here to read a letter from a member who was not able to join us here today. The letter is from David Bifankhauser, PhD, Professor of Biology and Chemistry, retired from the University of Cincinnati, Clermont College. The title of his letter is, "We have a chance to preserve Grailville for future generations." At a time when we see forested areas rapidly disappearing, especially in Clermont County, and climate disruption due in part to deforestation heating up the earth, there has never been a more important time to preserve the remaining forests and green space. Preserving existing forest and undeveloped spaces is so much more valuable than creating new green spaces. This is because they contain an existing ecosystem, a natural web of plants and animals which are native to and adapted to that environment. Preservation of the Grailville space is valuable not just because of its irreplaceable ecological riches, but because of its spiritual roots, which penetrate deep within the community, both secular and religious. I have personally participated in several activities and retreats at Grailville, which created strong positive memories for me. These include both spiritual retreats and also as a UC professor of biology and chemistry. Several retreats sponsored by the University of Cincinnati at which issues facing the university were discussed and working plans developed. The safe, spiritual, and ecological environment encouraged such productive activities. I urge, in the strongest of possible terms, that every step be taken to preserve this special place, to protect it from economic and commercial development, and make it a place for safe retreat for our children and generations to come. If we allow its dismemberment, this is a good letter. If we allow its dismemberment and destruction, it can never be replaced.
Can I ask you his address? Did he?
You could have a whole copy.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Sharon Scovanner, and I live at 155 Overlook Drive, and I will try to be brief. I appreciate your time and attention today. The future of sacred land owned by the Grail is at risk, but with your help, we can honor the desire of the Grail to choose a buyer for their land that is pleasing to their members, aligns with their values, and benefits the citizens of Clermont County. You have all received an email from me as a founding member of the Grailville Land Preservation Group. Out of respect for your time, I will not repeat the text of that email here, but know that not only is it the desire of the Grail to allow Cardinal Land Conservancy the opportunity to purchase their land using Clean Ohio grant funding, it is also the desire of the community. Community members have worked tirelessly to help facilitate a solution that is good for all parties involved. The Clean Ohio grant deadline is fast approaching, and it's imperative that you join unanimous votes by Loveland City Council and the Miami Township trustees in passing a resolution in support of the grant application. By voting yes, you will be voting to 1, allow the Grail to sell their property to the buyer of their choice, 2, preserve land and buildings with deep history to the Grail women and making it available for public use, 3, support Loveland City Council and Miami Township in their desire to preserve the land, 4, allow Cardinal to work with the Clermont County Park District, enhancing their land by creating 200 acres of contiguous habitat for animals and native plants. 5, create additional green space for public use, including hiking and passive recreation, which is a goal stated in Loveland's comprehensive master plan. 6, help Cardinal create natural learning spaces and curriculum for students. 7, eliminate infrastructure burdens on taxpayers through lower density. 8, contribute to the health and well-being of local residents and visitors, creating a hub for outdoor recreation when coupled with the bike trail in the Little Miami River. 9, provide a permanent designation of open space for future generations. With your approval, Cardinal Land Conservancy can use its experience and resources to protect the land for future generations. Thank you in advance for your support.
Thank you. So at this time, I appreciate the passion all of you have shown, but I do think we have used our 30 minutes. So we are going to have to move on with our schedule today. Thank you all for coming. We're going to get the turtle?
Does she know what a snapping turtle is?
Yes, I do.
That's what I thought.
You forget.
Thank you, everyone.
I lived on a farm.
That's another
also.
farm person. Thank you, everyone.
Steve, how long is your presentation? Okay.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not going to let Susan talk?
No. That will extend more time.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Good morning. Yvonne Smith from the Benefit Department of ADJOURN.
Good morning.
I'm here today to just present USI, our broker. They have a report where we are with the health care for 2024 and where we are currently year to date. So without further ado, I'll introduce Steve Ferguson.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, this won't be as interesting as land conservation, but it'll be, insurance is a necessary thing sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and go through first kind of where we are today, what happened in 22, and then talk about some what we're going to end up with in 23, and also some of the work that we've done with regard to the year. So just a very quick recap. When we look at last year's results, USI was able to save the county a little over $80,000 in stop loss premium. You know, we put in a special pharmacy program last year called Patient Assistance. I'll talk a little bit more about that. That was able to reduce county expenses by about $1 million through this patient assistance program. Also with the UHC contract, we actually lowered expenses about $70,000. So kind of a current state of health insurance. Last year, we had, and I'm going to talk on what's referred to as a per employee basis because that's really the standard measurement that we use. In 22, there was a total cost of just shy of about $14 million. It was a 16% increase in the cost per employee for medical. In total, a 35% increase in the cost for medical and a 22% decrease in the cost of prescription drugs. It's a little bit of a flip in 23. Through June, the county spent a little over $7 million in expense. It's a 2% overall decrease in the cost per employee. This included actually an 8% decrease in medical cost and actually a 19% increase in pharmacy cost. And we'll get into why pharmacy cost increased, which is really significant. Some health conditions that really drive some of the cost. I thought we would bring this up. The two primary health risks that we have in the county that is much higher than norms would be diabetes and blood pressure. The highest treatment category that we have tend to be around respiratory issues, asthma, emphysema, cough, cold, things like that occur. We do have a lot of significant number of people who have been diagnosed with heart disease, and we actually had 10 members who had a heart attack and stroke in the plan. So that's significant in here. 470 members have actually been diagnosed by their doctor of having early factors of heart disease. We have 170 people who have been diagnosed with diabetes and 53 with prediabetes. The reason why that's important is because that tends to lead to kidney problems, which we know that we've had 10 people who actually have had severe kidney disease and kidney failure in the thing. So these things all drive cost. One of the things that USI does is we have an analytics that says, based on all of the data that we have, where do you expect your future costs to be? It's in 3 categories. 1 is orthopedic treatments, 2 would be diabetes, and 3 would be heart disease. So those are kind of ongoing things that we have. So when you look at the one area that is a continual increase in cost, and it's an increase in cost for all employer medical plans, is pharmacy costs. As I mentioned before, we introduced something that was called a patient assistance program last year. And that patient assistance program actually had a reduction in county cost of about $1 million. This year so far, it's allowed us to save about $500,000 in specialty drug costs that we would have paid otherwise. And as a result, pharmacy costs decreased last year about 19%. This is driven really through what's called specialty drugs. Specialty drugs are the things you see on TV at night that tend to be very expensive. The average cost of a specialty drug runs about $8,500 a month, so pretty expensive stuff. Last year, specialty drugs accounted for 29% of the pharmacy cost. This year, it accounts for about 44%. So that increase is really due to something that is out of the county's control. One of the big areas that we were able to save money last year was through 3 primary drugs offered by a company called AbbVie. One is Humira, Rinvoq, and Skyrizi. You all hear these on TV at night. Humira is the #1 specialty drug in the country. This company decided to take these drugs out of consideration for patient assistance, which has increased the pharmacy costs for all employers these days who participate in this program. There were only 17, and this year there are only 17 prescriptions for these 3 drugs. However, they account for almost 27% of the total pharmacy expense. So you can see the impact. And so we expect as a result for us to lose about $250,000 in credits that we were getting that we won't get next year because of these 3 drugs. We do have some indication from our pharmacy experts that these drugs will probably come back into patient assistance next year. We're not sure, but that's where we hear some kind of early consideration. Considering the increase in the cost in pharmacy expense, we went through and did a full market review of other pharmacy managers. Today, the county uses a pharmacy manager called Elixir. Elixir is pretty well known, a large pharmacy manager. And when you look at it, we were able to go to Elixir and say, what can you do for us next year? And so as a result, they were able to come back with some additional savings, about $600,000 more than what they have. Again, a lot of those are not guaranteed because of some of the costs of some of the specialty drugs. However, we went to 2 very well-known pharmacy managers, a company called Magellan and Maxor, and what we found was we actually have some guaranteed savings of probably in the neighborhood of about $800,000 for those. So you can see the red circle that we have here, that is the one that we're really honing in on and considering for next year as an option. So in terms of the actual market review for the medical plan, USI went out to 15 different health insurance companies, carriers, and third-party administrators. We do have preliminary results, meaning that we need to firm up some stuff with some additional data for July and August. But right now, if we were to, everything stayed the same, with the addition of the additional savings we have with Elixir, the county would have about a 2.5% savings compared to last year. So we're looking good as it is. Hopefully it stays that way, but we'll be able to come back with once they firm up everything. And really that is driven primarily because of some of the stop loss and the pharmacy changes. We did have a very competitive proposal from SEBCO. SEBCO has an arrangement with Anthem. If you looked at it on its surface, it's about $1 million savings. The problem with that is that we have a self-insured plan that we have to continue to pay claims for, and SEBCO is really a fully insured plan. So what would happen in January, you would start paying premium, but you would continue to pay the run out of the current plans. The run out, we've estimated our actuaries to be about $1 million. So when you look at the savings from SEBCO for 24 plus the run outs of $1 million, it kind of zeroes it out. So it's really wouldn't be any savings for 24 for the county because of that issue. So we also received competitive proposals from Aetna and some other ones that are out there. So here is the summary that we did this year, and you can see I've circled the area that seems to be the most competitive. So you can see, let's just look first at the column that says alternative 5, and you can see this is the SEBCO proposal. So very competitive. And again, all these numbers don't apply because it's just a fully insured plan. So we would have saved about $1 million, but you can see down there on the line, it's at the bottom, it says run out potential, which means these are the claims that we have estimated that are in the pipeline that still need to be paid through the plan. So when you look at that, it actually still is a slight savings, 0.7% for next year, but really nowhere near the potential for savings that we would have if we stayed with United Healthcare and simply changed our pharmacy manager from who we have today to that. So that we have the potential today, which again is preliminary, to be about a 5% reduction in cost or about $763,000. So any questions before I go on to the next page? Okay. No. Okay, good. Greg, anything? No. Okay. So we've had a lot of interest in, and not only just we, but most other employers today. The big topic are all these weight loss drugs that you see in the news all the time. The Ozempics and Wegovy's and Mounjaros. So the county, obviously, the county HR wanted to take a look at this, and we have evaluated this. When you look at the impact of weight loss drugs, what you can see is that the current information says that they do have some impact, as people have heard. You know, there are some drugs that can reduce body weight as much as 15 to 20% in 1 year, which is significant. You know, you have to continue to take it because if you don't, the weight comes back on. But why is that important for the county? It's important simply because we know that we have high health conditions compared to other employers in the area. And we know that whenever you can reduce body weight by 15 to 20%, it has a corresponding decrease in some of the health conditions that go on there. So there would be an impact on blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes in some of these areas. So as a result of that, what we're doing is we are looking at, we have serious consideration to look at maybe adding these drugs on a trial basis for the county. And so the reason why it would be a trial basis is that we give us time to evaluate the effect of this, look at the cost of the county, the savings that could occur from something like that. And so we would have some oversight of this to make sure that the people who are taking the drug are also doing certain lifestyle changes so that when they go off the drug, they don't simply gain back all the weight that they had before. So we thought we would add a benchmark analysis. Again, benchmarking is how your plans compare to other employers. So we look at other county governments, we look at other employers of similar size, and we look at the Midwest. And so when you look at it, again, because there were no plan changes in this last year, your plans are still very competitive, especially with your high deductible plan. You're right on target with everyone else. And so, and your contributions that you have are also right in line with other places. So the last page that we have here are all the other coverages that we have. And so this would be your dental, life, disability, and areas. So USI sent out an RFP to 8 different dental carriers. And just to look at it, because I think it's important to do that, we did have a prospective increase for next year for Delta Dental of about 6%. Not a huge increase, but still, when you look at it, is that really the best thing for the county? We received a very competitive proposal from MetLife offering a 1% increase. The advantage of MetLife is that MetLife actually offers what's referred to as for people who don't have dentists that are in the network, they actually have a better reimbursement schedule than what Delta Dental plays today. So those factors are really causing us to look at this with serious consideration. So some other things, we looked at RFPs for life and disability. Because there were some things that occurred with the county, there were really no other competitive proposals other than Voya today in terms of cost. Voya's increase is not a huge increase, about $25,000, which is really similar to one of the deaths that were paid out. And so as far as the LTD, the voluntary life and LTD, there's no increase for the next 2 years. So, sorry, I hope I didn't go through that too quickly, but yeah, but just as a next step, we are going to share these items and have further discussion with the Healthcare Advisory Committee, and then we'll come back to you in September with any recommendations. So,
Thank
Good.
you, Steve.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you for waiting this
Sure.
morning.
Okay,
Thank you
sure.
very much.
Thank you.
He learned a lot, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Before we close out on this, I just want to make sure that we are emphasizing that these are preliminary numbers. We still have a lot of data to go over. And so, this is where we are today.
Then September, you'll do your board presentation.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for coming all. See you, Susan. Okay, at this time, it is 11 o'clock. We have a public hearing that we have to go into.
Today is the date, time, and location for the public hearing for the petition for the proposed annexation of 6.064 acres of real property from Williamsburg Township to the village of Williamsburg, Clermont County, Ohio. This was filed in our office on Wednesday, May 31st, 2023 by attorney Michael Menier for and on behalf of Andrew Gebhardt as the designated agent for the petitioners, and it's comprised of 4 parcels of real property in compliance with section 709.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. Just a reminder to everyone in attendance, please sign the sign-in sheet. There is one specifically noted for the public hearing, if you haven't already done so. Okay. Julia Carney is here, and she's our assistant prosecuting attorney, and she will swear in anyone offering testimony in favor or in opposition to this petition, with the exception being any attorney. So at this point, I will turn it over to Julia to swear in the witnesses.
If you are going to provide testimony today, could you please stand and raise your right hand?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. No, you do not. Thank you, Julia. Let's start with Craig Reisner. He is our deputy surveyor for the county engineer, and he's present to give his report on the proposed annexation.
Hi, Craig.
Keyboard. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Morning. We're still morning.
Craig Reisner, Clermont County Engineer's Office. Today we have the engineer's report for annexation of 6.064 acres of land from the Township of Williamsburg to the Village of Williamsburg. I reviewed the plat and description provided for 6.064 acres. The property is owned by Redstone Properties and shown on the tax map of Clermont County as parcel numbers 523509H, 138B, 131B, 064A, and 062A. The legal description and plat have been provided by Nichols Surveying LLC, and they are complete and accurate for annexation purposes. The proposed annexation has a 40% common boundary line with the Village of Williamsburg. The regular annexation requires a contiguous amount to the village, but there's no required percentage. Some of the other annexation statutes have a required percentage of 5%. So we always just include this just for your information. This is a 40% contiguous annexation proposal. The current village of Williamsburg is approximately 1,662 acres. No street or highway will be divided or segmented by the proposed boundary line between the municipality and the township and will not create any road maintenance problem. If the annexation is approved, a signed and sealed Mylar copy of the annexation plat will be required, and it'll be filed in the Clermont County Tax Map Office. So it's a one owner annexation, Redstone Properties. The adjacent owners are ODOT, Abrams, and Magnolia Point. ODOT is an adjacent property, but they are not technically considered an owner. Everything else looks okay.
All right.
All right.
Now, we do have the attorney for the petitioner, Michael Manier, is present, if he'd like to give his summation to the board.
You're asking an attorney.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I know better.
Somebody ordered lunch.
Good morning. Mike Manier, 626 Main Street, Milford, Ohio, 45150. Pardon me, got a little cough. I've been told when I appear before the board for these annexation hearings, which I've done many times, I talk too much, but that person obviously doesn't understand the concept of being a lawyer. So I'm going to keep it short this time in his honor. I'm going to read from my prepared statement. I'm here representing Andrew Gephardt, who is the agent for the petitioner, Redstone Properties, aka Louis Rubenstein is the managing member of the LLC. This is a regular type 1 annexation filed pursuant to section 709.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. It is a 6-acre lot with one owner. All the technical requirements of Ohio Revised Code section 709.02 ETC have been met and complied with, which leaves for the board's consideration the two areas of discretion reserved to the board by the code. One, whether territory to be annexed is reasonably large, and two, whether on balance the general good of the territory will be served and the benefits to the territory outweigh the detriments to the territory and the surrounding 1/2 mile of the township. I will start with the second one first. Ohio courts have generally held that the general good means whether the annexing municipality can adequately service the territory. The village has an ordinance that precludes the extension of the village sewer system beyond the corporate limits of the village. In order to avail oneself of the village sanitary sewer system, one must first annex into the village. Mr. Rubenstein of Redstone Properties and the village executed an agreement by which Mr. Rubenstein agreed to have his property annexed to the village, and the village agreed to provide sanitary service to the property. Not only is the village contractually obligated to provide sewer service to the property, but in addition, it's legislatively bound to do so pursuant to the service ordinance adopted by the village required by ORC 709.03D. And the size of the territory is only an issue if the municipality is unable to adequately service the property. Lastly, and equally important, this is in keeping with the county's policy to transition from private septic systems to public sanitary sewers. Any questions? Okay, thank you. I don't know if you got this part. That's what I said there.
Okay. I got it. 709. 22. At this time, I'm going to ask for requests for comments in favor of the proposed annexation. Is there anyone in favor? We'll move on. Is there anyone in opposition to the annexation? No one at this time. I have not, or our assistant clerk, received any comments or correspondence relative to the proposed annexation, whether in favor for or in opposition of. So at this time, if there are no further comments, we will close the public hearing and on the proposed annexation. And we want everyone to know that the disposition of the petition for the annexation will be within 30 days of this public hearing. And that is in pursuant to and in compliance with section 709.033 of the Ohio Revised Code. I believe the resolution will be on next session, which will be August 23rd. Okay. Thank you. Public hearing is now closed.
Thank you. Moving on with our regular agenda. Item E is consent agenda. Commissioner, we've had this in time. I have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Make that motion.
I will second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Not
Commissioner Batchelor?
here.
Sorry. That's just habit. That's force of habit. Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to item F. First on the non-consent agenda is item 10, and that is the recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 116-23 resolving to approve payment of vendors in the total amount of $2,398,709.06 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated August 16, 2023, BCC directed prepaid invoice reports and/or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor August 14, 2023, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
I will second. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Hi, Sandy.
Morning.
Good morning.
Wake up.
Oh, I've been away. I have item 11 and 12. Item 11 is a recommendation to amend Appendix 4.09 of the Board's Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual with respect to the classification plan. It would be to add a new position of Regional Caregiver Coach, class number 39525, assigned to pay range A, which would be effective upon approval, and to authorize my department to update the internet links and appendices.
Okay, thank you. We've had the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Item 12 is a recommendation to adopt a revised table of organization for the Department of Job and Family Services. That recommendation is to do some table cleanups, for lack of a better term. In child support enforcement, they will be abolishing 3 investigator 3 positions, 1 computer operator 2, and 1 account clerk 2, all of which are vacant, and adding 1 DJFS case manager. In Child Protective Services, they are abolishing 5 social service worker 3 positions, all of which are vacant, and upgrading and adding those to a level social service worker 4. In the Southwest Ohio Regional Training Center, they are adding 1 regional caregiver coach. All of those changes, my understanding is, can be covered in their current budget and requires no general fund contributions. And if that could be effective upon approval as well.
Thank you, Sandy. We've had the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Any discussion?
None.
Roll call?
A second.
You want a second?
Oh, I did. Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's confusing when there's only 2 of us.
I know, it's like who's on first anymore.
Good morning.
Good morning, Connie.
Item number 13 is the recommendation to execute amendment number 1 to the subgrant agreement between the County of Clermont, Ohio and Clermont County Educational Service Center, previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on June the 7th of 2023, for the provision of resource coordinator program services for eligible temporary assistance for needy families, TANF clients, to modify contract language as well as the budget to include language relative to payment to resource coordinators based on the spread pay system, and to modify the date of the submittal for the final invoice from July 31st of 2024 to August 15th of 2024, effective for the period of July 1 of 23 to June 30th of 24, with all other terms and conditions of the original subgrant agreement to remain in full force and effect.
Thank you, Connie. We have had the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Greg, you're back.
Morning. Item number 14, recommendation to accept the contract between the County of Clermont and JTM Smith Construction, Fayetteville, Ohio, for project number PI 1717 relative to the Nordic Road Bridge Replacement Project C96 0.38 located in Pierce Township, as complete as of 1/19/2023, and to execute payment number 3, which is the final, which represents the release of retainage, the amount of $14,395.86.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Morning. Item 15 is a recommendation to approve the request to advertise for bids for granular activated carbon contactor meter reactivation pursuant to the specifications, and authorize the clerk of the board to place the legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, August 24th, 2023. Schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 10 a.m. local time, with bids to be received until 2 o'clock p.m. local time on Thursday, September 14th, 2023, here in the Office of Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, Batavia, where they will be publicly opened and read aloud shortly thereafter, and the notice will also be posted on the county's website. So this will be for a 3-year contract, and the estimate for that is $2.7 million.
We've had the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Item 16 is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 2 to the contract with Building Crafts Incorporated out of Wilder, Kentucky. This is previously ratified by the board on March 9th, 2022, and amended on January 4th, 2023 for project number 6402-60117 relative to the Newtonville Wastewater Treatment Plant Part A project located in Wayne Township, and to change it with no change to the total contract amount of $6,397,494 and a non-compensable time extension of 44 calendar days for a revised contract completion date of October 3rd, 2023 for additions, deletions, and/or modifications as defined therein.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion?
Yeah. What is the reason for the extension? Weather or what?
I'm sure there's weather delays, and then the change order actually does have quantity adjustments in it, and I was going to explain those. They're adding additional asphalt pavement. Wasn't included in the original bid for the driveway going back to the treatment plant, but there was rock excavation included in the bid that they did not need to perform. So we're deducting the quantity for rock excavation and adding quantities for pavement. So,
All right. Thank you.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. 17.
item 17 is a recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute change order number 1 to the contract with Tribute Contracting and Consulting, LLC, out of South Point, Ohio. This was previously ratified by the board on March 9th, 2022, and this is for project number 6402-60116 relative to the Newtonsville Collection System Assessment Part B project located in Wayne Township, and represents a decrease in the amount of $4,574 for a total adjusted contract price to date of $6,004,572 for additions, deletions, and/or modifications as defined therein.
So we've had the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion because it's a decrease.
I was just going to do the same thing. We like decreases.
Sure. Yeah, we all do. Well, unless we're talking about pay, but that's
Oh,
Okay,
Gone.
move on.
He had
Let's
to
call
add
for the
that,
vote.
didn't he?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Item number 18 is the recommendation to authorize Thomas J. Eigel, County Administrator, to execute Amendment Number 1 to the Services Agreement between the Board of Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and Millennium Business Systems, a Flex Technology Group company of Cincinnati, Ohio,
previously ratified by the Board of County Commissioners on May 10th, 2023, for the maintenance of office machines for Clermont County departments and offices, to provide additional or replacement copier services for supplemental departments and offices as identified in the revised Exhibit A, reflecting changes in service to the Clermont County Domestic Relations Court and the Office of Management and Budget, with all other terms and conditions of the original contract to remain in full force and effect.
Thank you, Angie. We've had the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion?
No.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you. You're up, Gail.
All right. This is the recommendation to reappoint the following representative to serve on the Clermont County Convention and Visitors Bureau Incorporated. And the reappointment would be for Jim Collins at 1235 Ridgewood Drive in Loveland, Ohio, 45140. This would be his second term. And the second term would go from 7/22/2023 through 7/21/2026.
Okay, we've had the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
The next item is a recommendation to reappoint Dale Rowe, 750 US 50 Milford, Ohio, 45150, to serve on the Board of Directors of the Clermont County Port Authority. This is his first full term. The term is August 20th, 2023 through August 19th, 2027.
We've had the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor. Yes. Thank you, Gail. Item G, additions to the agenda.
We have one for your consideration today. It is Department of Community and Economic Development, resolution authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections.
Resolution number 117.
Hello, Kennedy.
Hi, how are you guys today?
You guys need to take action on adding it first.
Yes.
Okay.
I just saying good morning to the girl.
Okay.
Good morning.
Can I have a motion to add this to the agenda?
Yes.
I'll second that. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Bash.
Yes.
Alrighty, this would be, well, I guess the addition is the recommendation to adopt resolution 117-23 to authorize the president of the board, Bonnie J. Batchelor, to fully execute the grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, 4545 Fisher Road in Columbus, Ohio, for the local jails capital improvement project grant in the amount of $186,591 for the purpose of necessary upgrades to the Clermont County Jail fire alarm systems pursuant to in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
We've had the reading of this. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran. Yes. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Kennedy. No more additions?
Yes. It's not actually an addition. It's just sort of an acknowledgement. Angie, Greg.
Which one? Oh, the SOQ?
Yeah.
So, Board, if you recall, the SOQ was put out for geotechnical services, and the issue was the Clermont Sun failed to run it on time. Well, and in that process, when the dates changed, there are actually two dates listed. One was due tomorrow, and one was due next Thursday. So what we were going to do is they did have to contact our office to get a packet. So we were going to reach out to those folks that did contact us and clarify that the date is next Thursday to submit the SOQs.
Okay.
So it's kind of a clerical, not our fault type of thing where because it didn't run, the dates got changed. And so this we'll just take care of that. And so we'll open those next Thursday.
We don't have to rerun.
We do not. We do not, because the date in the paper was correct.
Yes.
And that's what
Okay.
the official notification is.
All right. Thank you.
It's just an acknowledgement. I don't even think we need a vote.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
So we're through that.
I do have one other item,
You do.
but it would be county elected.
Go ahead.
Want me to go ahead and take care of it now?
Sure.
We have some issues on the dates for session. And this would be in November and December. Basically, we have the week of Thanksgiving, Wednesday, the 22nd. We normally do not do session the week of Thanksgiving, but I'm just asking the board to make the decision whether or not they would think about having a session date on November 20th, which is Monday. And then I also have a question for the board and for you to consider that on December 6th, that is the week of the CCAO Winter Conference, and we're thinking that maybe it would be good to have a session date then that week, and we could move that to Monday the 4th also. And it is your consideration if you would like to do that.
What say you, Commissioner Corcoran?
I'm fine with moving the one we usually never did right before Thanksgiving, so that's fine. We could have session to cover bills and whatever we have coming in on the 20th. I don't know who's the winter conference, if you want to move it to the Monday or not. I really have no.
Historically, we did it last year.
Did we?
That's the reason I'm asking.
That's fine. Then we can do that also.
Why don't we just do both of them?
We'll do both? Okay.
Okay.
You don't need a motion or anything?
We don't need a vote. I just need basically you to make your decision.
You do need a,
We do need a vote on this.
that's correct. You've already established your dates as
All right.
Wednesday, so you do need to officially formally change that.
All right.
So why don't we
Motion to
make
add
the
first?
motion that we move November to Monday, the 20th, and December's to the Monday, the 4th then.
Okay. So I'll make that motion to add.
Commissioner,
You made it. You want me to second? I'll
Well,
second.
before you, there's two, you have to cancel the existing, and then you have to move, because you've already established the dates. So you have to take action to cancel, and then in the same action, add.
okay. So we will make a motion to cancel the dates of November 22nd and December 6th.
I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And there is a motion on the table to add Monday, November 20th and Monday, December 4th.
Make that motion also.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Is that it, Gail?
That's what I'm doing. I am positive because
Those two dates back on Mondays?
we just did.
Just did.
Yeah. I actually did the roll call on one because it's just you two. And
Never mind.
You could,
I'm not going to confuse.
I'm not going to confuse it anymore either because
Let it go.
Any other county staff or elected official discussion while we're in this topic?
Hope
No.
not.
Okay, item I. Moving on, executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to 1, consider the employment or compensation of a public employee or more public employees. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, we shall return. Thank you. Good seeing you. We have returned from executive session. Let me read it once more. We went in pursuant to section 121.22 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment or compensation of a public employee or more public employees. No actions were taken. We are going to resume. Anything else, Mr. Bickford, today?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Gale?
Nothing.
Okay. Ms. Corcoran?
The only thing was, it was very, very enlightening to see people come in and have an interest in what is happening in their community from Loveland area, even though we're not voting on anything till next week and we get the rest of the information regarding Grailville. But I'll tell you what, it was so nice to see that people are concerned. And it was enlightening that what's going to happen in their own city, township, village, whatever.
Well, as I said, it was great to see the passion they had
It
for
was.
this project. So
And
that's
carrying-
where they live.
Yep.
And it's, as you're saying, Claire, it's nice to see that they're taking the interest in their community.
Yes. Not overdeveloping and caring about it. Thank you very much. All right.
Anything else to come before the board today? Then I would accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. We will see you next week.